I hope you're well. This is another video on buying a business and how to pick a market to get into, how to pick a business to buy. And a lot of the questions that we typically get when we get clients is how to pick a business model that would fit me because I'm not sure what to select, what businesses to go into, what businesses are more risky. So that's a fairly popular topic. And I'm going to give you some of the quick key questions we ask our clients to be able to determine what deals to get into and how we do this. So we have a more of a done for you format service where we would come in and actually find a lot of these deals and analyze a lot of these deals and make offers for our clients. They don't need to do much. Eventually, they're just going to show up on a few of these calls with these sellers, but we actually take care of that process. And here's what we need to ask them to figure out what is the best criteria or what is the best buy box. And number one, it's the location you're in. So let's say you are a buyer in Houston, Texas, right? So if you're buying in Houston, Texas, there's a high probability that you're going to be looking at deals close to you in your vicinity. You're not going to be looking at deals in New York if you're in Houston, just because you're not going to have as big of a credibility when you're approaching businesses locally versus somebody who's in New York. Let's say you're reaching out to a business and he's in New York and he sees that eventually you're in Houston, you're not in New York, so that might be a concern. So the market is going to react to you a little bit differently if you're doing that. Now, there's ways on how you can overcome that, but ideally you're going to start with deals in your area. So that's the first criteria. So look at businesses close to you. The second thing is your level of goals. Let's say you want to make a particular amount of income. If you're in a corporate situation, let's say you're making $150,000 a year and you want to make at least $150,000 in a deal, guess what? The deal component or the deal needs to put you in a situation where it's at least making you $150,000. A lot of people make the mistake of going in out there and looking at a business that makes $150,000 in cash flow. But when you're buying a company, there's going to be expenses that are going to happen on the back end, such as servicing the debt, servicing investors, servicing, paying an accountant, paying a lawyer, paying service fees that you're going to get into. So you can't really expect to make that kind of income if you're getting into that business that earns that money. So then you need to kind of have a formula on what businesses to pick that it's actually going to net you that amount of money for you so that you can eventually transition out of a job, right? So that's the second criteria. I would say the third criteria is also your level of skills you have. So a lot of the times you might have different skills that are transferable to the business model. Let's say you have sales and marketing skills. Looking just at me, for example, I know a lot more about sales and marketing, and those skills are highly transferable to any business model. So that means that I could potentially be sector agnostic. I can look at a lot of different industries because what I can do for any business is very valuable from that perspective because my key skill sets relate to driving revenue and profitability in the company, not necessarily anything else. You might have operational skills, you might have financial skills, you might have some other transferable skills, and you want to look into businesses that you could deploy some of your skills and you can add value. That's going to be the third component. If you don't have skills, what's the question in that case? Well, you want to understand if you have some sort of communication skills related to hiring people or talking to people, because that's going to give you an opportunity to be able to hire people to solve some of the issues you're going to have in the deal. So let's say you're buying a company, you don't have as much experience in that industry. Let's say you're buying a construction company that requires a general contracting licensing, or an air conditioning company that requires HVAC, a master HVAC licensing. So in that case, you might actually go and find more experienced person that has that licensing and align them with your vision and help them kind of like hire them within your team and then go and buy that business and put them in operations. And you can use that licensing, pay them a retainer or give them a bonus or give them equity in the business so that you can actually do the deal. Second is sometimes these businesses have employees that actually have that, and you can leverage that as well. So those are some of the criteria you need to think about when you're picking a company. Now, a lot of people ask me, what is the best industry? What is the best sector? What is the best margin business to get into? And we don't look at it that way. We don't look at the best thing. We look at the best thing for a particular client. Because if you're following your process and you're looking at hundreds of deals every day, you know that there's going to be good deals in any industry. You know that there's going to be millionaires in every industry. And you know that if you look at it on a deal-by-deal basis and you find a fairly good team, fairly good operation in place, the seller's not tied to the business fully, then you look into that business and you determine if that deal is going to be a fit for your client. So a lot of the times, to be able to show our client what the value is and what the opportunity is, we actually need to look at hundreds of deals to be able to present them that opportunity. So that's how it actually works. It's not about picking the best thing and then just doing that. It's about actually going in the market, looking at a lot of things, and then finding the opportunity. That's how it actually works. So that was helpful for you. If you have any questions, let me know. If you want to implement this process and you want somebody else that has done a little bit over $1 billion worth of transactions, just reach out directly to me on LinkedIn. Happy to get on a call and help you with that. Thanks.